CEO killer who captured nationwide attention is in court.
We are concerned that Luigi's constitutional rights were violated in Pennsylvania, and there are serious search and seizure issues.
Luigi Mangione facing the judge for the first time since his arraignment. Mangione is charged with the shooting death of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside of a Manhattan hotel. What prosecutors are now saying about the case. The major decision expected in the case of Lyle and Eric Menendez after 35 years behind bars. Could the brothers be resentenced for murdering their own parents in 1989, possibly leading to their release? In the wake of massive government cuts and the firing of thousands of federal workers, Republican congressmen facing angry constituents at a fiery town hall meeting as the National Institutes for Health is the next to face slashing.
People are seeing things that we're not catching in other ways, and they're saying there's got to be a different or better way. But the problem is the science actually hasn't caught up yet with the worry.
Scans that go more than skin deep are the latest health trend for those who can shell out the cash, that is. But are there risks in trying to find out what the future might hold?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Linsey Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Morgan Norwood in for Linsey Davis. We thank you so much for streaming with us. We do begin with the sensational murder case of suspected CEO killer Luigi Mangione. He faced a judge in New York City today wearing a bulletproof vest and shackles. A crowd spilling out of the courtroom, Mangione pleading not guilty to murder and terror charges for allegedly shooting and killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. In surveillance video now seen by millions, the victim was shot from behind outside the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Mangione then led police on a multi-state manhunt before being spotted at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. Today, raucous supporters crowding outside the courthouse, many holding signs reading "Free Luigi." Mangione has garnered attention in part because of his criticism of the insurance industry, striking a nerve here in America. But prosecutors urge that this is a case about a husband and a father murdered in cold blood. ABC's Trevor Ault leading us off.
Tonight, this was the scene outside a New York City courthouse. A crowd of supporters, many angry at the healthcare system, hoping to catch a glimpse of accused killer Luigi Mangione.
Stop denying!
Their chants heard all the way up on the 15th floor, where supporters packed the hallway for Mangione's first court appearance in months. The case a cultural flashpoint. The young suspect seeming to garner more sympathy than the man he's accused of murdering. Some Mangione supporters going as far to put up billboards reading, "Free Luigi, he's a hero."
Luigi, what do you think of the support for you outside?
In court today, Mangione wearing a bulletproof vest over a dark green sweater, surrounded by officers, sitting before the judge shackled at the ankle and handcuffed. His attorney arguing images like this will make it difficult for Mangione to get a fair trial.
He is being publicly treated as guilty and as having the presumption of guilt as opposed to the presumption of innocence, which is what he is entitled to.
Mangione pleaded not guilty to charges he murdered UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City late last year. He was arrested 2 weeks after the shooting, spotted at this Pennsylvania McDonald's. Now his attorneys say there are, quote, serious search and seizure issues with the evidence collected there.
We are concerned that Luigi's constitutional rights were violated in Pennsylvania.
Police say they recovered a pistol, clothing that matched surveillance video of the suspected shooter, and a notebook describing an intent to, quote, whack an insurance company CEO.
I expect that the defense will challenge the evidence and the investigation by the police and by the prosecutors, and that in the end, they will hope that they have jurors who are sympathetic to Luigi Mangione.
And Trevor Ault joining us now. Trevor, what is next for Mangione and the charges that he faces?
Well, Morgan, the judge today did not set a date for the state trial on these charges, at least, and that will likely take at least a few more months to get going. The federal charges that he faces are even further behind. He'll appear on those charges for the first time next month. But, Morgan, as this is all going on, Mangione's supporters have now raised more than $500,000 online for his legal defense. Morgan?
Yeah, that support continuing to grow. Trevor Ault, thank you for that. Tonight, a new legal roadblock for the infamous Menendez brothers who are fighting for their freedom. The Los Angeles District Attorney announcing that he opposes their push for a new trial. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is in LA for us.
After 35 years in prison for the shotgun murders of their parents, tonight that new legal roadblock for the Menendez brothers. Newly elected LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman announcing he will oppose their push for a new trial, one of three potential paths to freedom.
The court should deny the current habeas petition by the Menendez brothers.
In a new video, the DA's office laying out the anatomy of the case, casting doubt on the authenticity of what the Menendez legal team claims is fresh evidence that would warrant a new trial, including a letter Eric allegedly wrote to his cousin months before the murders, claiming sexual abuse by his father.
If they had this evidence, if this letter truly existed, the defense counsel would have absolutely used it at the trial.
The DA accusing the brothers of consistently lying after the murders and casting doubt on their claims of sexual abuse.
Having reviewed 50,000 pages of documents, etc., do you personally now believe that they were not sexually abused by at least Jose Menendez?
They absolutely testified to it in great detail. I also understand that when it came to any corroborating information about that sexual abuse, it was extremely lacking.
Those allegations at the heart of their self-defense claim in a trial that captivated the country.
I just told him that I didn't want to do this and that it hurt me.
Just 24 hours ago, Lyle Menendez revisiting those moments during a rare prison interview with his brother on the TMZ podcast, Two Angry Men.
I was the first person to testify in front of a national audience about male sexual abuse. I received a lot of ridicule in the 90s about it, but also a lot of support and a lot of victims reaching out, appreciating that, and finding their voice through mine.
All of this has come as a blow to the Menendez family, which has pushed for the brothers' release, including Kitty Menendez's own 93-year-old sister, Joan.
They were just children who could have been protected and were instead brutalized.
The Menendez brothers could still be freed by a grant of clemency by the governor, or more likely through resentencing that examines their rehabilitation in prison.
The victims' families in this case are actively trying to pursue the brothers' release. So how much of a factor will that play in your decision making?
That certainly is a factor. It's a factor that we're obligated to consider, and that's why I've actually met with each one of the Menendez family members who wanted to meet with me.
And Matt Gutman joining us now. So Matt, when could we learn the DA's decision on resentencing?
Just a short time ago, Nathan Hochman told me, Morgan, that he expects to have a decision ready to go by a week from Monday, so basically March 3rd. Now, he is not the final decider on resentencing. The judge in resentencing has an enormous amount of discretion. But just a short time ago, literally a few minutes ago, Morgan, the family of the Menendez brothers, including the family of Kitty and Jose, the victims, issued a scathing response to that press conference, saying they are profoundly disappointed by the DA. It's a decision that they say opened up old wounds and, quote, discredited the trauma that they experienced. Morgan.
We know all eyes will be on this case and what happens next, Matt. We know you'll stay on this for us, Matt. Thank you. And joining us now is ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. Brian, you were just listening to Matt's piece there. Any surprises with what we heard from the DA today in the Menendez case?
No, Morgan, not much of a surprise. We knew when Nathan Hochman ran for this office, he'd always put himself, in comparison to George Gascon, as far less liberal, far less open-minded to the ideas of releasing the Menendez brothers. I think now he's simply put the facts and the information behind the opinion that we always believed he might have here, and saying that he's not going to support the habeas corpus petition that the Menendez brothers' attorneys have put forward or his predecessors have argued.
Well, let's lean into that there because of the three potential paths to freedom for Eric and Lyle, habeas corpus, as you just pointed out, clemency, but then also resentencing. Which of these do you foresee being the most viable path for the brothers' release?
So I think, as Matt Gutman put it, there's probably more arguments there for resentencing in the sense of their rehabilitation and what they've done, and also just the nature of resentencing when compared to habeas corpus. When it comes to habeas corpus, that's an argument between both sides that the judge will have to consider, and it's similar to resentencing, but different in the sense that the judge has its own unique powers in resentencing to say, all right, I can do this sua sponte or on my own, just like the DA also has the power to do the same. So the power and the ability for a changing of a sentence, I think, lays stronger in the judge's hands in resentencing, and the defense may find more ground there. But also there's clemency, and the governor said they're waiting for the new DA to come out with their stance on the clemency before they talk about it. And maybe now that DA Hochman has said something, maybe the defense has more luck with Governor Newsom.
And we'll see what plays out there. But Brian, while I have you, I want to ask you about accused killer Luigi Mangione. His defense attorney today said his right to a fair trial is being compromised, citing his treatment in custody as excessive. She also took issue with the documentary where officials discuss evidence, and it's evidence that she claims the defense doesn't even have access to yet, hasn't received yet. Does she raise a valid point here?
Yeah, those are strong allegations. I think that she was saying specifically that at the time in which that documentary occurred, she did not have, she being Karen Agnifilo, did not have that discovery to present to her client. And we're at the point in these cases where information should and must be turned over to establish certain arguments that the defense and prosecution will make as we march our way towards a trial. I believe that Karen Agnifilo has already hinted that she's going to make arguments for suppression as to the different items that were collected on Luigi Mangione when he's arrested. But to have that information out there in front of the public eye in a way that paints her client Mangione as guilty before the discovery's even turned over can taint a jury. The only pushback I would have there is, I think the public opinion of Luigi Mangione is pretty positive overall, but it's still an argument that needs to be made. I think she's making the right one.
You know, well, speaking of the public opinion, we saw the mobs of supporters whose chants apparently could be heard on the 15th floor today. What impact, if any, could this ultimately have on his trial?
I think ultimately the impact is who is going to be selected as a juror for Luigi Mangione's trial whenever that does begin. We know that in the state court they do have an indictment, where in the federal court they don't have it as yet, and I think the state court is going to try to push to be the first one to try Luigi Mangione. And ultimately they're going to have to find a juror, or 12 of them, in the county of Manhattan who's going to be unbiased and not have an opinion on this. And I think the chance that we're seeing, the exposure that we're seeing online about him as well, shows that they might have a favorable jury for Luigi Mangione.
Brian Buckmeyer, we thank you as always for your insight. Well, the Pentagon announcing it will lay off 5,400 probationary workers in a first wave that could eventually total more than 70,000 people fired. 1 month into the Trump administration, and Americans are packing town halls, and many of them furious over the Trump administration's sweeping cuts. Now even members of Congress are struggling to defend their actions. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has more.
Tyranny is rising in the White House.
Tonight, from Georgia to Oregon to Kansas, Americans angry with President Trump's sweeping layoffs and Elon Musk's drive to slash government spending, packing raucous town halls. Republican members of Congress starting to feel the heat.
We are all freaking pissed off about this. You're going to hear it and feel it.
In a district outside Atlanta, Trump won with 62% of the vote. Republican Congressman Rich McCormick getting an earful.
The people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
I just said, I answered it directly. I said, I don't want to see any president be too powerful.
One voter saying Musk's chainsaw approach to slashing government programs and spending.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Is out of step with conservative principles.
I want to say, from a conservative perspective, the approach of DOGE is completely 180 degrees. They've been indiscriminate, and they've taken a chainsaw to these things. Why is a supposedly conservative party taking such a radical and extremist and sloppy approach to this?
In Colby, Kansas, Congressman Tracy Mann confronted.
Is there anything that Trump and Eli could do that you would not support? I'm sure. Oh, tell me.
And in Baker City, Oregon, Congressman Cliff Bentz hearing complaints about the mass firings of thousands of government workers.
And you can do it in a way that is humane, yes, and treats people with dignity, and doesn't fire them on the spot for performance when we all know how hard these people work.
The president defends Musk and his mission, which has dominated the first month of his administration. But polls show voters are increasingly concerned about Trump's handling of one of their top issues, inflation, and his campaign pledge to bring down prices on day one.
Starting on day one, we will end inflation. We will end inflation and we will make America affordable again.
A Washington Post Ipsos poll shows 53% of Americans disapprove of how the president is handling the economy. And a new CNN poll shows 62% say Trump has not done enough to bring down prices. Today, I asked the president.
Americans voted for you on the immigration and the economy, but these voters say they're angry and frustrated by these firings. They don't like the work of Elon Musk and these other actions. What do you say to them?
Let me just tell you that I have today the highest poll numbers I've ever had. That's what I was just told. And they like the job that we're doing. They like the job that Elon's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do.
Earlier, the president hosting the nation's governors at the White House and calling out Maine for refusing to comply with his executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. The president asking if Maine's governor, Janet Mills, was in the room.
Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
And Mary Bruce joining us now from the White House. So Mary, how is Maine's governor responding to this?
Well, Morgan, tonight she is punching back after the president threatened to withhold federal funds from Maine. She says if he does, the state will take all necessary legal action. Governor Mills saying in a statement, quote, the state of Maine will not be intimidated by the president's threats. Morgan.
Mary Bruce at the White House for us. Mary, thank you. And also today at the White House, Kash Patel sworn in as FBI director, and he's already announced his intention to reduce the footprint of the FBI in the National Capital Region. The Senate narrowly confirming Patel on Thursday. Let's go overseas now because tensions are rising there over the release of the hostages from Gaza. Israel accusing Hamas of a, quote, very serious violation after confirming one body was not a hostage. Here's Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz.
24 hours after the shock of Hamas handing over the wrong body to a grieving Israeli family, tonight the terrorist group saying they have now transferred the correct body of 32-year-old Shiri Bibas. Bibas, the mother of two little red-headed boys. Kafir was just 8 months old, his big brother Ariel only 4, when all three were kidnapped from their home during the October 7th massacre. The children were the youngest Israeli hostages. The tiny bodies of the Bibas boys were released Thursday in a chaotic handover. Hamas insists the Bibas family was killed by an Israeli airstrike, but tonight Israeli officials say that was a lie. The boys were killed in cold blood by Hamas terrorists.
The terrorists did not shoot the two young boys. They killed them with their bare hands.
The boy's father was taken hostage separately. He was released earlier this month, but tonight he is waiting for the heartbreaking word that his wife, like his sons, is likely confirmed dead. This comes as Hamas says they will release 6 hostages alive tomorrow, no Americans among them. Morgan?
Martha, thank you. Well, a measles outbreak is spreading in West Texas. Dozens of new cases have been reported there over the past 72 hours, and at least 90 known infections alone in one particular area. Maria Villarreal reports from Texas.
Tonight in Texas, the worst outbreak of measles to hit the state in more than 30 years is getting worse. The Texas Department of Health now reporting 90 cases in West Texas alone. That's 32 more cases since Tuesday. 16 patients had to be hospitalized. Nearly all of those infected, children. And in almost every case, the patient was unvaccinated.
When you layer a very infectious virus in close quarters with many kids that are unvaccinated, that is a recipe for a disaster.
Daycare centers where some are too young to be vaccinated, on alert for fevers and rashes.
Newborn babies, they don't receive the vaccine until they're 1 year old.
And children can't get the second dose to be fully vaccinated until they are 4. Texas requires vaccinations but allows for parental and religious exemptions.
I'm worried that with the growing increase in unvaccinated kids, that we're just unfortunately seeing the tip of the iceberg when it comes to measles in this country.
And our thanks to Maria for that report. Let's take you out west because Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has removed the LA fire chief from her role effective immediately. And it comes in the wake of those devastating California wildfires. The mayor herself, remember, was criticized for being out of the country when the Palisades fire started, but accused department officials of being unprepared. Kana Whitworth reports from Los Angeles.
They were the largest and most destructive wildfires to ever rage in Southern California. The Eaton and Palisades fires burning more than 16,000 homes and businesses and killing at least 27 people. And tonight, LA Mayor Karen Bass facing criticisms for the city's response, announcing she's removing LA City Fire Chief Kristen Crowley effective immediately.
1,000 firefighters that could have been on duty on the morning the fires broke were instead sent home on Chief Crowley's watch. These actions required her removal.
The mayor claiming Crowley decided against deploying about 1,000 available firefighters and dozens of water trucks in advance of the fires, despite the forecast that the National Weather Service called a particularly dangerous situation. Mayor Bass, who was also criticized for being on a trip to Ghana when the fires broke out, blamed Chief Crowley for not warning her about the extreme fire danger.
Every time there was a weather emergency or even a hint of a weather emergency, the chief has called me directly. She has my cell phone. She knows she can call me 24/7. That did not happen this time.
But in the aftermath of the fires, it was Crowley who criticized the city's funding of the fire department.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
That was our Kana Whitworth reporting there from Los Angeles. Now, despite being removed as chief, Chief Crowley has expressed or exercised her right to stay with the department, but at a lower rank. So far, no comment from Crowley or the department. Well, a JetBlue pilot was arrested on board his plane just moments before the transatlantic flight was set to take off. Authorities removing pilot Jeremy Goodorf, you see him there, from his plane at Boston's Logan Airport Thursday evening. The 33-year-old is charged with second-degree exploitation of a minor. Police say they were conducting a standard review of the flight manifest when they discovered an active warrant. His bond is set at $10,000, and he's required to return to his home state of North Carolina. Well, the stock market closing out the week with the worst day of the year so far. The Dow losing 748 points today, closing at 43,428. Those losses coming amid growing concerns about economic growth, tariffs, and inflation. Well, coming up, a recall warning for Tesla drivers, the issue that could cause your car to suddenly lose power. Plus, full-body medical scans with the ability to detect things like early signs of cancer. But are they accurate? While some say they owe their life to them, not everyone is a believer.
People are seeing things that we're not catching in other ways, and they're saying there's got to be a different or better way. But the problem is the science actually hasn't caught up yet.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
Mr. President?
You were the last person to see the president alive.
He was trying to warn me.
Agent Collins, you're the only one I really trust. And I want to tell you the truth.
You're about to be entrusted with top secret information.
The president did something. You're going to want to hear this.
The biggest secret is right under your nose.
What aren't you telling me?
Attention teachers, no child is to be sent to the principal's office today. Kids, if you want to do crime, now's the time. Happy first day at school.
Yes! Weren't there like 4 more of these?
Yeah, we were robbed.
Hey, buy 3, get 1 free.
I'ma call your mother on you. Bring the rest back here, boy.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London. From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere.
From Pixar comes an all-new original series.
Everyone is chasing the feeling of a win.
Hey, Lori, you're famous.
But if someone wins,
You're not funny.
somebody has to lose. What did I just do?
One story.
No matter what happens, you are all winners.
Told from 8 sides.
We'll make it work.
We always do.
Better not blow it.
Disney Pixar's Win or Lose. Available February 19th only on Disney+.
Lifestyle was an innovator.
They sounded like nothing else sounds.
They were doing church,
Blues, soul, funk, rock. So I was the creator,
writer,
producer,
thinker,
poet.
His songs have been sampled by tons of artists.
He opened a portal. Oh yeah, come this way.
Welcome back. In the never-ending quest to hack our health comes new technology, now available to anyone who can simply afford it. It allows doctors to see every millimeter of the human body, what's ailing us and what we're not even aware of yet. Now, this imaging doesn't come cheap, but fans of the scans say knowing what's underneath their skin is worth the investment. ABC's Deborah Roberts reports.
This is such a big scan because it reveals so much.
From the Kardashians' matriarch herself,
I'm just excited to get my results.
to Goop wellness guru Gwyneth Paltrow posting on Instagram,
going into Prenuvo for my full body scan.
Celebrities with access to the best health tech out there are paying thousands of dollars out of pocket for full body medical scans, just for a peek at what's under their skin. Former Bachelorette Ali Fedotowsky and husband Kevin Mano sharing on Instagram.
Kevin has thyroid cancer and had 0 symptoms before we found out.
The biggest players in elective body scans, Prenuvo and Ezra, claiming to help detect disease before symptoms even arise, sharing compelling patient testimonials.
The feedback from the medical team was, you've caught this so early that your chances of a cure are probably about 80%.
So for my 50th birthday, my husband was like, do you want to go to Paris? And I was like, I want to go to Prenuvo.
Could they revolutionize the future of healthcare?
We're comprehensively looking through every organ in the body to screen for cancer, aneurysms, and 500 other conditions that we cover.
But not everybody's buying into the hype. Some of America's most prominent medical institutions criticizing these popular scans, saying there's no documented evidence body scans are effective in prolonging life, and that the risks include mental anguish and high rates of false positives. But with alarming headlines about rising cancer rates, some people are looking beyond the recommended screening tests for answers.
This is exactly what we need to be talking about, because the underlying motivation for this, I completely understand. People are seeing things that we're not catching in other ways, and they're saying there's got to be a different or better way. But The problem is the science actually hasn't caught up yet with the worry.
Even shrewd entrepreneur Damon Johns sharing his experience.
I already got back all these images. Health is wealth, and I don't have any investment. I don't know anything about the company.
He's the founder of iconic lifestyle brand FUBU.
FUBU, MBA 99, FUBU.
Tonight on Shark Tank.
And one of the original judges of ABC's Shark Tank.
I am offering you $200,000 for 20%, and then we'll just get to work.
8 years ago, this father of three beat thyroid cancer, and since then has become hyper health conscious.
I started going on this journey for longevity and to constantly stay on top of my health the same way I stay on top of my businesses. I keep trying to monitor and do various things. I'm consciously trying to find better ways to biohack my life and my body. All right, here goes the machine.
Beyond cancer checkups every 6 months, the 55-year-old now also includes full-body magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI scans, to his annual routine.
Now I'm about to go into that thing. I don't know if cancer's anywhere else in my body. This is a second level or a second layer of what I think is insurance to me.
That extra layer can be a double-edged sword.
Boom! Aneurysm. I see something that says here, listen, may represent a small something Baker cyst. All I saw in there was aneurysm in my leg. I started freaking out.
2 years ago, his scan came back with the finding of a possible aneurysm.
I was very scared because I'm not a doctor. I don't know what that means. But it concerned me enough to make sure I got it checked.
A follow-up biopsy revealed it was actually benign, which by all measures is the best outcome. But it's the fear of the unknown that critics of elective scans point to as potentially stress-inducing, costly, and unnecessary with follow-up testing.
Was it worth getting? Absolutely. 120%. I'm going to have a Pronuvo scan every year because now I even have something to compare it against.
Until recently, MRIs were only available in medical settings, requiring a referral from a doctor, and were done for specific reasons. MRIs don't use radiation like CT scans. A serial tech entrepreneur, Andrew Lacey, is the founder of Pronuvo.
We have a healthcare system that is reactive, that finds disease late, and because it finds it late, it causes a lot of cost to the healthcare system and worse outcomes to patients. We want to reinvent the way that we do healthcare.
Pronuvo has quickly expanded to 17 clinics and is on track to open 14 more. Starting at $999 for a torso scan, up to $4,500 for the whole body, the prices are steep, not covered by insurance, and yet there's an even pricier option. At nearly $6,000, Ezra, Pronuvo's main competitor, says they're struggling to meet the demand for their high scan.
The MRIs are wonderful because it allows you to diagnose things with great precision.
In a collaboration with biohacker Brian Johnson, the tech millionaire who famously spends $2 million a year on his blueprint quest to extend his longevity.
People who are like myself, who really enjoy the process of being proactive and measuring things, will find this scan to be very helpful.
Recently released Ezra Blueprint is an MRI and CT scan combo.
The most important thing for somebody to know is there a code red happening right now inside their body that they don't know about?
Ezra claims that 6% of their patients have found potential cancer. Pronuvo stating that between 2.5% to 5% of their patients have been alerted to a life-threatening condition, and 49% to something to monitor.
The reality is, while we might feel comforted that we've had a whole body MRI and it was clean or negative, it does not completely say that there's not a cancer in the body because of the limitations of what it can see.
There are no current guidelines for interpreting cancer risk for asymptomatic people who elect for the whole body MRI scans. Experts acknowledge this is an area that needs future research.
I used to be a professional dancer. I was a rockette for 13 years. That one's me. And I now am a director of a small family-based construction company.
46-year-old Danielle Patrick is a mom of 3 living in New Jersey.
I heard about this scan that I could do, and it just became a really important thing for me to get done. I have been a single mom who has been financially 100% responsible for 3 children. I don't buy myself new clothes and new handbags, but for me, this is where I want to spend my money.
You gotta go forward, not sideways.
Divorced for 10 years and engaged to be married, her motivation is her family.
So it is the most important thing in my life to be there for my children as long as possible. And in the best case scenario, be there for my kids' kids.
Hi.
Danielle has annual checkups and normal routine mammograms, the gold standard for breast cancer screening. But she says that's not enough for her own peace of mind. She's aware this type of test doesn't rule out breast cancer, but she wants to know even more about what else there could be lurking. She lost her mom, Mary, to breast cancer at age 53.
She was my best friend. She was my everything. She was amazing. I wish that she had gotten scanned, and I do believe she would still be here if she had. And I don't want to ever put my children in that position to lose me. And she will forever be my driving force. And I know she'd be super proud of me.
It's the day of her scan. Danielle and her fiancé Jeff make their way to New York City.
This is it. Thanks, babe.
The moment she's been waiting for.
We
are.
Hi, how are you?
A quick change, and she's off to the scanner.
We're going to come to this section over here.
Okay.
Before we begin, a couple of safety questions, okay?
Then a little distraction.
What would you like to watch today or listen to? Up to you.
To help her get through the 45-minute head-to-torso scan.
Let's put on the new Squid Games.
The MRI taking images, often called slices, of her main organs, bones, tissues, and blood vessels.
We do a little cutting here. We just leave what's important.
I think you did great.
The test now over.
I'm just glad to be out. It was just, tight in there. Super loud.
But it's over.
Yeah.
Now the hardest part, waiting for her results.
It's been just over a week since I had the scan. It's felt like a very long week. Everyone knows that I'm getting the results today, so they're also a little bit nervous.
Hello. We're on a Zoom with Danielle and a member of Prenuvo's medical group who explains the results provided by a board-certified radiologist.
I'm Dr. Vikash Modi. I have the privilege of going over your recent MRI scan results with you. The place I'm going to start is just by saying overall, we assess every patient's scan for risk of malignancy, for cancer. And your scan registered as low risk for any active malignancy. Doesn't mean that we're 0%, and it doesn't mean that something can't develop tomorrow. But as of that snapshot of the picture we took, we're in good shape. Okay.
That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, my heart rate just completely came down.
Good.
Most of Danielle's findings are favorable.
So your brain is a healthy size and shape. We see no signs of masses, tumors, malignancies of any sort. Now, what we did spot was this little thing in the circle we call a non-specific white matter hyperintensity. And the pattern sort of matches a sort of we don't know pattern, okay, which is a little scary for the patient, but for us, we know it's low risk.
Dr. Modi reminds Danielle to follow up with her primary doctor and wraps up with this guidance.
Because this needs to be sort of a roadmap now for what your next few steps are going to look like.
It's exceeded all expectations to live in this day and age and be able to do this for myself and my family. I just feel so grateful and so happy. So thank you.
I'm so thrilled to be a part of it for you.
She says the results are life-changing.
Getting the results of this scan is honestly one of the best moments of my entire life. I've spent the last decade worried that things were wrong, and it's a feeling of just complete and utter relief. And those questions that I have always had in my head since my mom passed away, it's just completely, they're almost gone now. I just feel like I have control.
Those scans changing lives. Our thanks to Deborah Roberts for that report. Well, still much more coming up here on Prime. The New York Yankees parting ways with their long-standing facial hair policy, so players won't need to keep reaching for those razors. But first, some improving crime statistics. We're taking a look at the considerable drop in homicides in the U.S. That's coming up in By the Numbers.
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids. Their names are Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. I have my daughters, but then I also have a 13-year-old stepson. All right, I love my stepson. He's almost like my family. He sleeps right there on my property.
Lifestyle was an innovator.
They sounded like nothing else sounds.
They were doing church,
Blues, soul, funk, rock.
Sly was the creator, writer, producer, thinker, poet.
His songs have been sampled by tons of artists.
He opened the portal. Oh yeah, come this way.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state, and that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live. ABC News Live is there for you all morning live. Right there. As events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
Nightline, the stories that shape your world, that shape your life. Dramatic, stunning, empowering, jaw-dropping. The most powerful stories of our time. Nightline, on right after Kimmel and streaming on Hulu. Hollywood's biggest night starts here. The stars, the fashion, the wow. On the red carpet at the Oscars. Streaming live on ABC News Live. Oscar Day, all day. Wherever you stream.
Attention teachers, no child is to be sent to the principal's office today. Kids, if you want to do crime, now's the time. Happy first day of school. Yes!
Weren't there like 4 more of these?
Yeah, we were robbed.
Hey, buy 3, get 1 free.
I'ma call your mother on you. Bring the rest back here, boy.
Mr. President?
You were the last person to see the president alive.
He was trying to warn me.
Agent Collins, you're the only one I really trust. And I want to tell you the truth.
You're about to be entrusted with top secret information.
The president did something. You're gonna want to hear this.
The biggest secret is right under your nose.
What aren't you telling me?
I love this version of me.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
I love it. I'm there for it. Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what?
The View.
I love it. I'm all in.
Second that.
This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
From the 2024 campaign trail in Erie, Pennsylvania, I'm Rachel Scott. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
President Trump campaigned on being the candidate who could clean up a crime-ridden America. Those were his words. But the latest crime statistics for 2024 show the COVID-era crime wave actually began to dissipate during President Biden's last year in office. Those figures are tonight's By the Numbers. Homicides have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years, 16% alone last year, and that's according to statistics compiled by the Major Cities Chiefs Association. In other words, the police chiefs. Many big cities saw homicides decline more than 30%. And that includes Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Boston, and New Orleans. Homicides in Phoenix falling 28%. Remember, conservatives during the presidential campaign had blamed an alleged rise in violent crime there on undocumented migrants. But not every city saw a drop in homicides, however. Albuquerque saw a 20% increase, and Austin, Texas, a 41% increase there. Between 5 and 9%, that's how much other violent crimes like aggravated assault, rape, and robbery fell last year. And lastly, some bit of good news. Violent crime is now 10% below what it was since the earliest days of the pandemic. Well, coming up, the FDA says the shortage of popular weight loss drugs is over. What is back on the market tonight? And love, fidelity, and second chances. Millers in Marriage takes us inside our long-term relationships, those that are toxic and those worth saving. Stars of the film Benjamin Bratt and Gretchen Mol are here to talk about their new film.
Are you a monster?
No, I don't believe I'm a monster.
How did she die?
When the tests came back, I thought, are you kidding me?
She's been poisoned.
Caitlin Connolly, convicted of poisoning the mom of her boyfriend.
A jury found that Caitlin committed manslaughter. For 7 years, the law agreed.
Then, last month, an appeals court overturning Caitlin's conviction.
Will you convene a grand jury to re-indict Caitlin Connolly?
Little Miss Innocent, freed, now streaming on Hulu.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you.
Jalen Hurts, you and the Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World.
What's good to watch? Read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America. Get excited!
I love that so much. It's time for GMA Life.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
I love this version of me.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first.
I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what?
The View.
I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV. And so much could happen.
Attention teachers, no child is to be sent to the principal's office today. Kids, if you want to do crime, now's the time. Happy first day of school.
Yes. Weren't there like 4 more of these?
Yeah, we were robbed.
Hey, buy 3, get 1 free.
I'ma call your mother on you. Bring the rest back here, boy.
I'd never seen that many skeletal remains. Thousands.
This killer, he's the Dahmer you've never heard of.
There were mannequins, almost like it was a club.
I felt the presence of evil.
Never before a face-to-face interview with a camera.
Why now?
Let me ask you, am I the evil culprit, the accomplice?
I'd like to know how the audience views me.
The Fox Hollow Murders, Playground of a Serial Killer, only on Hulu.
Welcome back. A congressman accused of assaulting a woman, a major recall for Tesla drivers, and the New York Yankees bid farewell to a decades-long ban on facial hair below the lip. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
Florida Republican Congressman Corey Mills is being investigated by D.C. police for allegedly assaulting a woman in the nation's capital. Mills was charged with simple assault on Wednesday. He, quote, vehemently denies any wrongdoing whatsoever and is confident he'll be quickly cleared. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser also confirms an internal investigation into how Metropolitan Police handled the case after 3 changes were reportedly made to the police report. When asked about the incident, D.C. police said once leadership became aware of the matter, there was an immediate review. The department is now investigating. Tonight, Tesla is recalling more than 370,000 vehicles. The company says a power steering problem may increase the risk of crashing. This impacts certain 2023 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles. The company says the issue can be fixed with a software update. Affected owners will be notified by mail. The mother of late rapper The Notorious B.I.G. has died. The Monroe County coroner in Pennsylvania confirmed Valletta Wallace died on hospice care in her Stroudsburg home from natural causes. After her son's murder in 1997, she worked to preserve her son's legacy, executive producing a Netflix documentary about his life. Valletta Wallace was 78 years old. The shortage over obtaining Ozempic and Wegovy is over, according to the FDA. Drug maker Novo Nordisk says they are now fully meeting or exceeding nationwide demand for all doses of semaglutide, the active ingredient for Ozempic, which is used to treat type 2 diabetes, and Wegovy, which is used to treat obesity. The shortage is also resolved for similar drugs Mounjaro and Zepbound. The shortages began in 2022 amid unprecedented demand. The New York Yankees has ended their ban on beards. Today, the team amended the grooming policy 49 years after it was imposed by owner George Steinbrenner. Now the team will allow, quote, well-groomed beards. Until now, players were given the choice of being clean-shaven or having a mustache, and they could not let their hair grow past their shoulders. History made on the court.
It was my birthday that day. It was a very, nice birthday gift for myself.
22-year-old Leslie University guard Bailey Cinnamon Daniel made the three-pointer. Even more remarkable, she was born with one arm. Her coach immediately called a timeout to mark the first time in NCAA Division III women's basketball history a player with one arm had scored in a collegiate game. Cinnamon Daniel was cut from her high school team senior year, but now in college, her team is having its best season in 14 years and has reached the playoffs.
Midlife can be a time of reflection, reinvention, and unexpected challenges, especially when long-term relationships falter and we're haunted by unmet personal ambitions. Well, a new film, Millers in Marriage, explores these themes through the lives of three married couples grappling with love, fidelity, and the search for a second act. Gretchen Mol plays Eve, a former musician eager to reclaim her passion after years of putting family first, while Benjamin Bratt plays a charismatic music critic whose encouragement and interests could alter the course of her life. Take a look.
I have to tell you, you did inspire me. That day after we had the first interview, I went home and I just started writing. And I wrote the first song that I've written in years.
It's amazing. Good for you. See, I told you it's never too late.
It's never too late. Joining us now are actors Benjamin Bratt and Gretchen Mol. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Benjamin, I want to start with you because your character, as we just saw, plays that music critic who supports Eve's return to music. What drew you to this particular role?
I think it's the same thing that drew all of us in the cast to the opportunity to work with Eddie. And really it was a chance to be a part of a story that is reflective of some of the things people in our generation are going through. It's interesting, we were talking about the longevity of having a career as an actor that starts in your 20s and excels through your 30s. And then one day you wake up and you find yourself in midlife wrestling with so many of the questions that are posed in the story. And you can't help but be reflected really on what it means.
And her up. I want to go to your character, Gretchen, because Eve, she's in this pivotal moment of her life. Her kids are grown up, right? Mm-hmm. She's trying to reconnect with music, that deferred music ambition, right? Mm-hmm. What aspects of her journey, as Benjamin was talking about reflecting on his own, what aspects of her journey kind of resonate with you?
Well, I'm not in a situation where I'm empty nested quite yet. I still have teens at home, but I can feel it upon me. I can feel it coming. And my husband and I often talk about how, you have to have some plans in place, or you have to think about that time when they're gone and when you're not so needed by them in that particular way. And then where are you? What's next? All of those questions that I think when you're deep into parenting and that you may not be as in touch with. You're kind of like the things, the seeds that you laid already you're letting those flourish and you're sort of riding on them. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position where you have a chance to think about yourself again and your dreams. And did they come true? Is there still room for them? Do I have new ones? All of those questions. So I could relate to that.
You drop so many bars. Such a place doesn't exist. I feel like I need to write all of these things down. As so many films that are marketed are towards the 30-year-olds and the 20-year-olds, and you have those main roles centered around that coming of age or the 20-year-old and the 30-year-old life. But this was so different for you guys. In the way that midlife is being centered in these stories. How important was taking on a role like this for you?
You know, it was when the script came along, it was surprising. It was that kind of thing where I just hadn't read anything that was so kind of recognizable of the state, the questions that I'm asking, the sort of discussions I'm having with my friends. All of that was in the script. We are having these moments in midlife where it's, you're asking these big questions. And I just love the film because it opens up that kind of conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
There's also a practical business consideration that is often overlooked, which is obviously we work within an industry that's completely youth obsessed. And to your very good point, almost all pop fare is geared towards youth culture. And sustaining that. There's at least a third of the population, our generation and older, that is completely ignored in terms of the stories that are being produced into films. And that's a massive business opportunity missed, to say nothing of the significance really on focusing stories on people who have a story to tell, who've lived a life of deep experience and feeling. And
thank you both for being with us. We really appreciate it. Benjamin and Gretchen joining us. Millers and Marriage is now in select theaters. It is also on digital right now. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Morgan Norwood. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Coming up, chaos outside court as accused killer Luigi Mangione faced a judge. Plus, in an unprecedented move, Apple stripped some users from having its most secure data protections.
I found a beautiful Latina woman, and now I'm proud to say I have 3 kids, Puerto Rican. 3 Puerto Rican kids. Their names are Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. I have my daughters, but then I also have a 13-year-old stepson, all right? I love my stepson. He's almost like my family. He sleeps right there on my property.
I'm 110% ready to fall in love.
Tall, handsome, smart. He's perfect.
Time just stood still. It's kind of already sinking in that these other girls are dating my boyfriend.
Everybody just really wants Grant, and we're all fighting for his love.
You act like you don't care.
He knows how I feel.
I know I'm in trouble.
Everyone's so mean.
I did not know how hard this was gonna be.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live.
Right there. As events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. Hollywood's biggest night starts here. The stars, the fashion, the wow. On the red carpet at the Oscars. Streaming live on ABC News Live. Oscar Day, all day. Wherever you stream.
What's good to watch? Read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America.
Get excited!
I love that so much. It's time for GMA Life.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London. From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
I'm Whit Johnson, reporting from Maui. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Morgan Norwood in for Linsey Davis. We thank you so much for streaming with us tonight. We begin with the sensational murder case of suspected CEO killer Luigi Mangione. He went before a judge in New York City today wearing a bulletproof vest and shackles. A crowd spilling out of the courtroom. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to murder and terrorism charges for allegedly shooting and killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Now, in surveillance video now seen by millions, the victim was shot from behind outside the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. Mangione then leading police on a multi-state manhunt before being spotted at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Today, raucous supporters crowding outside the courthouse, many of them holding signs reading "Free Luigi." Mangione has garnered attention in part because of his criticism of the insurance industry, and it struck a nerve here in America. But prosecutors urge that this is a case about a husband and a father murdered in cold blood. ABC's Trevor Ault leads us off.
Tonight, this was the scene outside a New York City courthouse. A crowd of supporters, many angry at the healthcare system, hoping to catch a glimpse of accused killer Luigi Mangione.
Stop denying!
Their chants heard all the way up on the 15th floor, where supporters packed the hallway for Mangione's first court appearance in months. The case a cultural flashpoint. The young suspect seeming to garner more sympathy than the man he's accused of murdering. Some Mangione supporters going as far to put up billboards reading, "Free Luigi, he's a hero."
Luigi, what do you think of the support for you outside?
In court today, Mangione wearing a bulletproof vest over a dark green sweater, surrounded by officers, sitting before the judge shackled at the ankle and handcuffed. His attorney arguing images like this will make it difficult for Mangione to get a fair trial.
He is being publicly treated as guilty and as having the presumption of guilt as opposed to the presumption of innocence, which is what he is entitled to.
Mangione pleaded not guilty to charges he murdered UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson in New York City late last year. He was arrested 2 weeks after the shooting, spotted at this Pennsylvania McDonald's. Now his attorneys say there are, quote, serious search and seizure issues with the evidence collected there.
We are concerned that Luigi's constitutional rights were violated in Pennsylvania.
Police say they recovered a pistol, clothing that matched surveillance video of the suspected shooter, and a notebook describing an intent to, quote, whack an insurance company CEO.
I expect that the defense will challenge the evidence and the investigation by the police and by the prosecutors, and that in the end, they will hope that they have jurors who are sympathetic to Luigi Mangione.
And our thanks to Trevor Ault. Well, tonight, a new legal roadblock for the infamous Menendez brothers who are fighting for their freedom. The Los Angeles County District Attorney announcing he opposes their push for a new trial. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is in L.A.
After 35 years in prison for the shotgun murders of their parents, tonight that new legal roadblock for the Menendez brothers. Newly elected L.A. District Attorney Nathan Hochman announcing he will oppose their push for a new trial, one of three potential paths to freedom.
The court should deny the current habeas petition by the Menendez brothers.
In a new video, the DA's office laying out the anatomy of the case, casting doubt on the authenticity of what the Menendez legal team claims is fresh evidence that would warrant a new trial, including a letter Eric allegedly wrote to his cousin months before the murders, claiming sexual abuse by his father.
If they had this evidence, if this letter truly existed, the defense counsel would have absolutely used it at the trial.
The DA accusing the brothers of consistently lying after the murders and casting doubt on their claims of sexual abuse.
Having reviewed 50,000 pages of documents, etc., do you personally now believe that they were not sexually abused by at least Jose Menendez?
They absolutely testified to it in great detail. I also understand that when it came to any corroborating information about that sexual abuse, it was extremely lacking.
Those allegations at the heart of their self-defense claim in a trial that captivated the country.
I just told him that I didn't want to do this and that it hurt me.
Just 24 hours ago, Lyle Menendez revisiting those moments during a rare prison interview with his brother on the TMZ podcast, Two Angry Men.
I was the first person to testify in front of a national audience about male sexual abuse. I received a lot of ridicule in the 90s about it, but also a lot of support and a lot of victims reaching out, appreciating that, and finding their voice through mine.
All of this has come as a blow to the Menendez family, which has pushed for the brothers' release, including Kitty Menendez's 93-year-old sister, Joan.
They were just children who could have been protected and were instead brutalized.
The Menendez brothers could still be freed by a grant of clemency by the governor, or more likely through resentencing that examines their rehabilitation in prison.
The victims' families in this case are actively trying to pursue the brothers' release. So how much of a factor will that play in your decision making?
That certainly is a factor. It's a factor that we're obligated to consider, and that's why I've actually met with each one of the Menendez family members who wanted to meet with me.
Our thanks to Matt Gutman for that report. Well, President Donald Trump says he is firing the current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Q.C. Brown, and nominating Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Raisin Kane to replace him. General Brown became chairman in October 2023. Well, we take you overseas now as tensions rise over the release of hostages from Gaza. Israel accuses Hamas of a very serious violation after confirming one body was not a hostage. Here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz.
24 hours after the shock of Hamas handing over the wrong body to a grieving Israeli family, tonight the terrorist group saying they have now transferred the correct body of 32-year-old Shiri Bibas. Bibas, the mother of two little red-headed boys. Kafir was just 8 months old, his big brother Ariel only 4, when all three were kidnapped from their home during the October 7th massacre. The children were the youngest Israeli hostages. The tiny bodies of the Bibas boys were released Thursday in a chaotic handover. Hamas insists the Bibas family was killed by an Israeli airstrike, but tonight Israeli officials say that was a lie. The boys were killed in cold blood by Hamas terrorists.
The terrorists did not shoot the two young boys. They killed them with their bare hands.
And our thanks to Martha Raddatz. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has fired the city's fire chief, Kristen Crowley, over the chief's handling of the deadly Palisades fire. Now, the mayor accuses Crowley of failing to communicate the severity of weather conditions that led to that highly destructive wildfires, I should say, and then not deploying sufficient resources.
We all know that 1,000 firefighters that could have been on duty on the morning the fires broke were instead sent home on Chief Crowley's watch. These actions required her removal.
Now, Crowley has accused the mayor of making drastic cuts to the fire department's budget. The mayor has appointed LAFD veteran Ronnie Villanova to serve as interim chief. It will take Southern California several years to rebuild after the devastating Eaton and Palisades fire last month. But Paradise, California should provide a roadmap for that rebuilding effort. The 2018 Camp Fire there was California's deadliest. 85 people died and 90% of homes were destroyed. Philip Palmer from our partner station, KABC, has this report.
In November of 2018, the Camp Fire killed 85 people and destroyed 90% of the homes in Paradise, California. Gary Ledbetter lost everything he owned in that fire, and 6 years later still remembers his state of mind.
There's a flood of emotions when you get burned out. One of them is, I want what I lost, and you want to build back right away.
Gary had moved into his home 10 days before the Camp Fire destroyed it. It was a year before he was able to begin rebuilding, in part because he wanted to wait for new building codes now required in Paradise. But it took much longer for many to come to grips with the reality of what they faced on their road to recovery.
You lose everything, now you're a victim. But my recommendation is don't stay there. Climb out of that hole and become a survivor. Then once you have a survivor mindset, you can gain some clarity and set a vision for yourself.
In terms now easy to understand for fire victims in Southern California, Phase 1 and Phase 2 of debris cleanup took 9 months here in Paradise. 1,000 trucks every day hauled away 3.7 million tons of debris. That's the equivalent of 4 Golden Gate bridges. By comparison, the combined fire zones in LA County will need to remove an estimated 4.5 million tons of debris, making it all the more important for everyone to opt in to the right of entry program for the Army Corps of Engineers debris removal.
Seeing, hundreds of trucks drive the same routes every day, all I, taught myself to think of was progress. Each truck was progress. But what I can say in my experience, having kind of overseen all of it, is that the more people that sign up for this program, the more efficient they can be, and the faster the overall cleanup is done.
Paradise is a remote community just east of Chico, so the timeline for recovery was affected by its location, but also by the decision to rebuild in a manner that would reduce the chances of this kind of devastation ever happening again. It was 2 years before the first homes were completed. For Jen Goodland, it took 2.5 years before her family moved into their new home.
It was extremely hard at times. We had some, during storms or other threats of fire, feeling like maybe we couldn't rebuild. There were some really defeating days, but you just have to do one thing at a time, and if you get through that, then you do the next hurdle.
Paradise had a population of 26,000 people before the fire. In 2020, only 5,000 people lived here. But by last year, that number had more than doubled to 11,000. And for 3 straight years, Paradise has been the fastest growing city in California.
You see trucks everywhere. You see red cones everywhere. We're work in progress, and people get frustrated about it. We call it construction fatigue here. The folks down in your area are going to experience that same thing because construction is going to take a long time, and it's going to interfere with day-to-day life. That's just normal for the first 3 to 5 years after the disaster.
People from the outside always say, why aren't you rebuilt? And our perspective is we've done an incredible job from what we had.
Paradise realized over the years how important it is to celebrate small achievements every day, and this wall is a perfect example of a celebration of the smallest. Each individual tile is the actual handprint of a child who lived in Paradise 5 years after the fire. Over 2,500 small achievements all in one place.
And that was Philip Palmer reporting there. A measles outbreak is spreading in West Texas. Dozens of new cases have been reported over the past 72 hours alone, and at least 90 known infections in one area alone. Maria Villarreal reports from Texas.
Tonight in Texas, the worst outbreak of measles to hit the state in more than 30 years is getting worse. The Texas Department of Health now reporting 90 cases in West Texas alone. That's 32 more cases since Tuesday. 16 patients had to be hospitalized. Nearly all of those infected children. And in almost every case, the patient was unvaccinated.
When you layer a very infectious virus in close quarters with many kids that are unvaccinated, that is a recipe for a disaster.
Daycare centers where some are too young to be vaccinated, on alert for fevers and rashes.
Newborn babies, they don't receive the vaccine until they're 1 year old.
And children can't get the second dose to be fully vaccinated until they are 4. Texas requires vaccinations but allows for parental and religious exemptions.
I'm worried that with the growing increase in unvaccinated kids, that we're just unfortunately seeing the tip of the iceberg when it comes to measles in this country.
And that was our Maria Villarreal reporting. Well, in an unprecedented step, Apple is removing its highest level of data security from customers in the United Kingdom. The security feature is called Advanced Data Protection, and without it, iCloud backups in Britain will no longer have end-to-end encryption. Apple will now have access in certain cases to previously protected user data. That data could then be handed over to the government if compelled by authorities to do so. Now, this move comes after the UK government demanded a backdoor to Apple's end-to-end encryption, something Apple has consistently opposed. Well, coming up here on Prime, the giant sinkhole slowly swallowing a Brazilian town. Look at that. We'll be right back.
Mr. President?
You were the last person to see the president alive.
Pink's trying to warn me.
Agent Collins, you're the only one I really trust, and I want to tell you the truth.
You're about to be entrusted with top secret information.
The president did something. You're going to want to hear this.
The biggest secret is right under your nose. What aren't you telling me?
It was a kidnapping, torture case.
A crime of greed and cruelty.
The men tortured the victim by beating, tasing, and burning him.
And this is where it gets really horrible. The guy was cutting off my roommates. It was like a bad dream.
This crime was horrific.
He's a psychopath.
How could you possibly defend somebody like that?
This was a story about greed, sadism, evil.
Wicked Game, Devil in the Desert, only on Hulu.
Attention teachers, no child is to be sent to the principal's office today. Kids, if you want to do crime, now's the time. Happy first day of school.
Yes! Weren't there like 4 more of these?
Yeah, we were robbed.
Hey, buy 3, get 1 free.
I'ma call your mother on you. Bring the rest back here, boy.
Listen to me. You can do anything.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
I'm Mireya Villarreal in Houston, Texas. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming with ABC News Live.
Pope Francis's doctor said the pontiff is not in any danger of losing his life, but added that he's not fully recovered and that his condition could change. The doctor said the Pope got out of bed today and sat in an armchair to do some work, but predicted he would remain in the hospital at least through the coming week. Well, all migrants held at Guantanamo Bay have now been repatriated. The 177 migrants, all Venezuelan, were taken on 2 non-military ICE flights, first to Honduras and then to Venezuela. 2 of them were sent back to the United States. Of those held at Guantanamo, 39% were deemed low threat, according to court filings. Well, take a look at this. A massive sinkhole is threatening multiple homes in a northeastern town in Brazil. The geological phenomenon has created large craters, some stretching hundreds of meters, and has forced town officials there to declare a state of public calamity. According to the town officials, these sinkholes are natural but have been intensified by human activity and heavy rains affecting the area. A Great Big World is comprised of the dynamic Grammy Award-winning duo of Ian Axel and Chad King. You see it there. They've collaborated for nearly 20 years now on everything from music to film to television and even animation. Their global hit with Christina Aguilera's Say Something, you've heard it, surpassed 1 billion streams and achieved 6 times platinum status, and also won them their Grammy. And A Great Big World now kicks off their 2025 tour, a mini tour that is, and a new 5-track extended play, Then There Were Sparks. Here's their emotionally charged single by that same name.
And then there were sparks. And then there were sparks.
and you feel sparks when you listen to that track. Ian, Chad, thank you both for being here. That single, it is very personal for you, Ian. Tell us what is behind that song.
Yeah, so, you know, it's, in a way, it's kind of about our relationship as friends and collaborators over all these years. It's been changing, and change is hard, but we're leaning into it now.
Change? How so? In what ways has your relationship changed?
I would say that right now, actually when we were writing the song was probably when this change was happening, which is that, so I have multiple sclerosis, and the disease has been slowly affecting me here and there, but it's always been like come and go kind of a thing until recently. And then once things had to change, it had to change with us too, and it had to change our dynamic, how we performed and toured together. And then it's sad, you know, that I won't be with Ian this time around, and it's the first time ever that we're doing it like this. And it's sad when in your mind you have everything and how it's going to play out in this dream world, but then it's not how life happens, and you sort of have to adjust. And that's what we're doing. In the song, Then There Were Sparks, it's right where the end meets the start, and it feels like that's what this moment is.
And I'm curious how you approach making music for movies, and where do you draw inspiration there?
Yeah, so we are collaborators at heart. I mean, I almost don't know how to do anything alone. Like, we work together. So recently we just wrote this song called Nothing's Impossible for a Japanese animated film called The Imaginary. And it was just a super collaborative process.
What are you most excited about with the tour for fans to see?
I'm excited to connect with people face to face again. It's been so long, and I just want to see people again, and I want to feel like the feeling and the rush of just being vulnerable again in that way. And it's amazing that I have Chad's support through this, because it's the first time I'm going out on stage without Chad in a long time. So it's scary. It's scary. You sing half of all the old music, so it's just interesting figuring out what songs to do, how to do them. And, you know, Chad always has the invitation to jump on stage if he wants to.
We thank you so much for joining us tonight. A Great Big World's new 5-track extended play, Then There Were Sparks, again, drops today, as we just mentioned, wherever you get your music. Again, their tour also kicks off in Boston next week, and you can catch them March 3rd at a city winery right here in New York. Coming up here on Prime, we get a visit from Time Magazine's Woman of the Year, Raquel Willis, joining us next to talk about this honor and the challenges her community is facing.
I love this version of me.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first. I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what?
The View.
I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
Listen to me. You can do anything.
It's now or never.
Let's go.
We got a feeling we were getting a glimpse of the future.
The Oscars.
Hosted by me, Conan O'Brien.
Sunday, March 2nd, live on ABC and Hulu.
The news never stops.
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live.
Right there. As events unfold across the day. Breaking down the day's top stories. ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
Attention teachers, no child is to be sent to the principal's office today. Kids, if you want to do crime, now's the time. Happy first day of school.
Yes! Weren't there like 4 more of these?
Yeah, we were robbed.
Hey, buy 3, get 1 free.
I'ma call your mother on you. Bring the rest back here, boy.
They're the most impactful, influential, and important women of 2025. Time released its Women of the Year list this week, including athletes Asia Wilson and Jordan Childs, actress Nicole Kidman as well, and activist Raquel Willis. Raquel has long been a voice for the LGBTQ+ community and for trans women. She works as a journalist and a speaker and is a good friend of ABC News Live. Raquel Willis joining us now. Raquel, congratulations. It's so good to see you, my friend. I want to start with the moment that you found out about this honor. I mean, what went through your head?
Wow. Well, I found out a few weeks ago that they were going to honor me, and I just kind of thought about all of the inspirational people in community who have paved the way for me. I thought of amazing trans journalist Monica Roberts, who we lost during 2020. I thought of people like, of course, Janet Mock, Laverne Cox, so many others. So it really was just one of those moments where I just really felt my older sisters, elders, and transcestors just, I don't know, caress me.
Yeah, it was that weight there. How can this recognition help your overall cause? You do so much.
Well, I hope that in a time where there's so many attacks on particularly the trans community, trans women and girls, that this can serve as a reminder that no one can steal our power. We have so much work to do, and we have been doing it for generations. And I just want to continue to encourage other folks to be a part of the fight, not to be silent.
Well, let's lean into that fight because the Trump administration, their policies have been targeted at transgender communities, including no longer issuing passports with the X gender marker, ordering that trans women be moved into men's prisons, bathrooms, defunding gender-affirming medical care for trans youth. How is the community pushing back?
Well, the community is organizing, and we really always have. I mean, this is not the first time that we have faced governmental officials who have not seen it in our best interest to make sure that we're safe and secure and have access to all of our dreams and possibilities. So folks are organizing. We've had rallies out in New York. I co-founded an organization called Gender Liberation Movement, and we had a phenomenal rally for trans youth recently. But our community is continuing to find strategies to make sure that our folks stay safe and, again, continue to reach for their dreams.
Strategies and strength. What is your message to the trans community during this time?
My message is to find community if you don't have it. Learn about your history. Know that you have always existed. People like you have always existed. And also just remember that, again, nobody can steal your power without your permission. So you don't need anyone to co-sign your truth and validity. You should just own it and fight for it.
Raquel Willis, one of Time's Women of the Year, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And that is our show for this half hour. I'm Morgan Norwood. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you for streaming with us.
Attention teachers, no child is to be sent to the principal's office today. Kids, if you want